But anyways, I wasn't there putting it on and all the other work that goes along with that, so I know that there's a lot of work to that, so I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys doing that.
Thank you. Hello, hello, hello. Well, it was recorded, so they can listen to it afterwards, but still, it's not okay for us
They
to
said
not.
yes, does that mean
Oh.
they can hear us?
Oh, yes, now you can. So now you can hear us.
Oh.
Okay, thank you.
Good job, Jenny. Whatever you did work.
Test.
So just double check, anybody on Zoom have a public comment? Okay, hearing none, we will go ahead and move on to our agenda items, starting with administrative items. First of which is to approve the minutes. Commissioner Watts, have you had a chance to go over the minutes?
I did,
I have as well. Any questions or comments?
I do not.
None here either.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of April 10th.
I will second that motion. Those in favor respond by saying aye. Aye. Minutes are approved. Budget report and approving of vouchers. Is there anything unusual that we need to know about?
Not much. The Blue Mountain Irrigation and Landscaping, if you look at the vouchers, that's just a little bit bigger bill, but it's just the starting spring cleanup and startup of all the irrigation systems, garden cleanup. The garden's in much better shape now. We've separated the portion we're gonna keep from the portion that the Conservation District is leasing, and they've tilled up their portion too, so it all looks way better. And then the lighting incentive check, so we wrote that one, and that is really, everything else is either broadband related or a typical expenditure, nothing unusual. Do you have any questions on either the vouchers or the budget report?
No, I do.
Neither do I.
All right, that's all right.
You're supposed to well,
Thank you.
Thank you.
before I forget it. Stuff. in.
You don't wanna miss out on that giant paycheck.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, leases, do we have any?
We
leases?
don't have any leases this month, nope, none this month, I know.
Next item would be update on port assets, beginning with Rock Hill.
Okay, so in the industrial park, we have started the lighting, got that lighting thing going.
Right.
And Tracy's been talking to him more than I have. I know she did relay to him your concerns about making sure that the businesses were either notified or the disruptions were kept as little as possible. So that's all been taken care of.
Yes, he's gonna notify me. He's getting really close. He's ordered the parts and then he'll notify me when he's gonna be coming out and the times so I can let the tenants know.
Perfect.
Did we have anything else in the industrial park? I don't remember having any repairs this month, knock on wood. No,
No, it's been very quiet
Yep.
in that respect.
no, everything seems to be going smoothly. We're still waiting for the gravel to be graded. Again, we seem to be delayed, but
Mhm.
Tracy has been calling regularly. We're on their list.
Okay.
Okay?
Lions Ferry.
Okay, so I turned in the RCO application as I reported to you in my mid-month report. I did discover that it's a little bit of a deeper process than I understood. It's kind of interesting. So what we turned in is really considered it's considered the application,
Mhm.
but then they do a technical review. So they will review the application. And we have the opportunity, it is not required, but of course I'm gonna do it, because this is the first time I've been through it. We will make a presentation, a 12-minute presentation to them, and they will give us feedback in a Zoom setting on our application. And so basically, they tell you how you can strengthen it.
Right.
Or I assume that's what it is, what issues they may see or how we can strengthen it.
Okay.
Then I resubmit the application, I make changes to it based on their information, I resubmit the application by July 18th. And then they review it and I do another presentation, August 27th and 28th. Another PowerPoint presentation. And then I guess they make a decision. And I did just notice that last year's applicants were just over a month. So it takes almost a year to get the money. So it's an interesting process. I think I sent you that list just so you could see the magnitude of entities that had applied. It is quite a
That's
list.
this one right here, right?
Yes, yeah. And it's a little disconcerting, in going through the funds, as far as I can tell, our WWRP WA section, which is the, water access section,
Mhm.
I think there's only 2 million, a little over $2 million in it. And there was 18 million applied for. But the good news is that, I've been told that RCO wants to give money to Eastern Washington, because you can see clearly from this list that it's mostly West Side.
Right.
So we have that in our favor. So I'm just curious to see how it'll
Right.
turn out. Yeah, the concessionaire did a good job pulling together match. That is one thing I need to learn about, is how they deal with this in-kind match, because it's a, it's a lot of, I'm assuming we have to write the contract. The way we would put the project out for bid is the contractor, the primary contractor that's gonna bid on it has to know that there will be a 2,500 gallon donation of diesel. And there will be so
Right.
they can build their price to fit the in-kind. So I'm glad for the technical review opportunity with the RCO, so I can ask those questions
Mhm.
and just make sure we understand that match very clearly. They're the ones who encouraged it, so they must have a way
Right.
to make it work. So. Yeah, and I felt really good about it by the time I got it turned in. I felt like I'd turned over just about every rock and I know they talk about meeting the evaluation criteria is very important. So, when I do the written presentation, that be our focus is water access, the need, who we're serving, all of that stuff. So.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's your update. I probably won't have anything more to report until after that technical review at the end of July.
Okay.
Hi.
I sincerely apologize. My dog ran. Faced a deer.
Okay.
Didn't want him to be left.
I told him you were using the dog excuse, the dog and homework excuse.
I went home to get a bite to eat.
Okay, if that's all for Lions Ferry, we'll move on to Blue Mountain
Yeah.
Station.
Okay, so. Met with. Phil and his financial person. I think I told you that in the report. That seemed to go well. We are both working on our presentation for next week. Next week, Thursday. We're gonna split it. I'll do 10 slides. He'll do 10 or 10 minutes. He'll do 10 minutes. They want to hear our story. They don't want us to regurgitate the application. He and I are gonna meet for breakfast that day and kind of go over things, and then we're on the curb agenda for 1 o'clock. So we're gonna go about 12:15, and they will make a decision right then. And knowing Curb the way they are, they'll put a press release at the end of the day.
Okay.
So just so you know, if people start saying congratulations, you'll know why, because Curb has put it out immediately.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what they do. They're very organized. So, yeah, and then we will have about 6 months to complete the pre-contract requirements, which may be SEPA. I'm not sure yet. Sometimes they make you go through some of the environmental documentation where they'll write a contract with you, proof of match, that kind of stuff. So it's the things we're used to. And then we'll have to put out request for statements of qualifications for architects and engineers. There's two we've already worked with, but in order to satisfy the funding agency, we'll need to, advertise and
Right.
probably interview, depending on how many we get. Usually we do a little bit of an interview and ask people what their experience is with designing a malt facility. And go from there. So it's very exciting. I feel good about it. The project analysis that we received from Curb was just exactly what they had proposed as an estimate, which was the $1.25 million grant and the $3.75 million loan. Same terms, 2% interest, 3-year deferral. So it was just what they had proposed. So no surprises. Okay. And Jill can talk about the green cluster in her economic development. That's okay, we can do it down there. And then the glass recycling, did you give them a flyer? There's flyers, the glass recycling is happening starting this Saturday. Many thanks to Dave Harvey, who is going to be helping haul glass, and I will be at my stepson's graduation, so I won't even be there, so thank you, Dave, for holding down the fort. And so that's the first of 6 months worth of glass recycling.
Okay.
People seem excited about it that I've talked to.
Really positive
Yeah,
feedback on social.
yeah. Yeah, so all you have to do is just, you don't even have to take off the label, just rinse it and take off the lid and bring it on down, save it up and bring it down once a month.
Okay.
And I think that's it. I guess that's it for Blue Mountain Station. Anything else?
Just that it's booking up for.
Oh, the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yes, oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, the kitchen's really busy right now. It happens to before Lowell Farmers Market season
Oh,
often happens. So we have food trucks and vendors coming to use the
okay.
kitchen. So it's fun.
Yeah. Okay, CWW Railroad.
I don't have any appraisal update. I did leave a message for Todd and told him I'd just like to talk to him before, the next meeting, so I have a little bit more understanding of what to expect when he's got it done.
Right.
The sewer agreement is being reviewed by the city attorney. And I sent you the email about the cars, just wanted to make sure you understood what that was about, the car haulers that are being parked. There are, let's see, what was it? 77 car haulers there now, and he's bringing in 50 more. So it'll be 127 cars that'll be stored there for a while, so. And I did look them up and they are car haulers. It's clearly a car hauler. There are pictures online of them with cars in them and so. There. Anyway, so let me know if you have any questions. And that's it.
Okay. Moving on to broadband, Dayton Community Broadband Project.
Okay, so the co-location room now finally has its new lock on it, so each of the ISPs and the port have a code. And you have to call the network operations center before you go in, or else it'll trigger an alarm. So, Tracy ordered online a sign that says stop and it has the phone number to call. So even the ISPs, even if you have a code, you have to call the number before you go in. We have had meetings with Pacific Core about I think I told you that they said, I don't remember if this happened since the last meeting, that they have up to a year to inspect the poles after the project. And tell us if there is more make ready that's needed, which is problematic when you're trying to close out the project with it. So the meeting went well, but, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and be able to close out the project, but that is a little bit odd. I think we told them we were done in December, so. Anyway, I think I'm getting close to closing that out. The 2 homes that were missed on Bailey'sburg Road are done. They're done. And, we're over 60% adoption rate, so
Excellent.
the revenue is just, I don't know if you noticed it, but
I did see that.
it is
Nice.
great. It's really great. Charter, we did submit the bill for the damage that was done at the trailer park.
Mhm.
That cost us about $5,000 to fix because it was an emergency repair. And we did submit that to Charter and it appears that they're gonna pay it. They didn't even argue about it. So,
Good.
yeah. So for those that don't know, the Charter has been putting up fiber here also. and they are taking down or moving the old cable. And they had left some dangling and the garbage truck caught it at the trailer park down here and snapped the Pacific Power pole in half. So because it was their issue, they get to pay for it. Yeah, so I think that one, maybe one more month of making sure there are any last straggling bills, and then we've got to do the retainage with the Department of Revenue, all the state departments. We have to clear the certified payroll and all the things with the primary contractor before we can pay out the retainage. So that'll be one big bill that will happen, and then we'll be done. And Tushy Valley Broadband, we released it for service yesterday. It was very exciting. So other than waiting on the Rose Gulch Bridge to be complete and one line we're gonna have to move in a spot on, I think it's Whipple Hollow Road where the county's doing road work. And then some restoration work. That one is mostly complete. Lots more bills rolling in, but mostly complete. And we've got 60 customers in that. Already calling ISPs. They were anxious. They were ready. And then we'll work on closing that one out too.
Mhm.
And I think that's it. The only update I have on the BEAD funding is Petrichor is holding a meeting with some of us regional folks to discuss it, but it's just really daunting. I don't know if it's gonna work for us to do. It might be better if we just continue trying to build out where we can using the curb, the state money.
Mhm.
Because to do the BEAD project, you have to do the whole county.
Okay.
And that's pretty daunting.
Right.
I'm not sure it'll work, so. Anyway, that's all I have on those.
Okay, next we have community and economic development, starting with staff report.
Okay, so I'll just be very short because I've spent all my time on craft malt and RCO. So yesterday was the M4 meeting that I had mentioned to you guys a while ago, the river highway, the Columbia Snake River. The federal government calls it the M84 corridor. So that was really interesting. It was at the Red Lion in Pasco, and I helped moderate a session. There were many ports there, many shippers, Tidewater, Foss, Shaver. They were all there. Railroads were again missing. We've invited them, but they haven't come. There was discussion of the Snake River dams. It was really, they had the Pacific Northwest Waterways Association executive director there, and so it was interesting to kind of hear their take on the negotiations that have happened at the federal level and what they think will happen here. I mean, it's still it would still take a great deal for it to happen, for them to remove the dams. Doesn't mean it's not possible, but it takes an act of Congress, I guess, is what they were describing and kind of describing what they thought would have to happen. And the participants of the meeting seem to really like it and want to do it again. So we'll see. Our port doesn't have river shipping, so
Right.
I was kind of playing a supporting role, but it's always nice to go and it's informational to me. Oh, we heard more about the cruise industry, which is very much growing on the Snake River. That American Cruise Lines is building 5 new boats
Oh, wow.
for 2025, and at least 2 of them, I think, would be coming to the Snake and Columbia. They said that it's just growing.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys have ever checked them out. They're pretty amazing. They have balconies and beautiful rooms. They're not cheap, but,
We're gonna have to build a bigger dock.
well, I haven't done it yet, but I've thought about asking them if they were interested in docking at Lions Ferry and then getting out and going to Blues Falls, but it would take a dock. I mean, we'd have to build a dock.
Right.
But if we need to replace the breakwater anyway, I kind of wondered if there might be a two for one deal in there somewhere. So I don't know. If you guys aren't opposed, I thought I might reach out. I know the marketing person real well. I thought I might reach out and see. Cause they stop other places. There were buses here the other day when I came through town on Monday evening, after just hearing from them, there were 2 buses at the gas station down here with American Cruise Lines. So they were clearly busing some of the passengers somewhere here. So. Yeah, because I mean, I don't know, they pay a lot to dock at our brand new breakwater stuff.
Yeah, then maybe.
Or yeah, maybe, yeah. Not opposed, I'll just put out some feelers and see what they say.
Sure.
Okay, and then we held the destination leadership team meeting here this month for the Walla Walla tourism effort that we're helping with. And have it at the Delaney Room, which was great, and people seem to like coming to Dayton. And we had the new hardware hotel owner come and speak, and then Jill and I did a little presentation showing a lot of the reels that Veronica has done on our Choose Columbia County campaign. So just kind of told them a little bit about Dayton. That was nice. And then I'm gonna let Jill talk about the grain cluster work we've been doing together. So I'll pass it on to your report.
So yeah, on the grain cluster front, we are just still sending out the survey. We're really trying to get local people to take it. So our 13, we got 13 responses on it. We met with the Grain Shed and Palouse Heritage out of the Spokane area. It was a really insightful conversation into kind of what they think would be useful. Packaging was the thing that came up. I don't know what else,
Cleaning,
cleaning,
milling
milling
keeps
was
coming
a
up.
huge thing. Yeah,
Small scale milling.
yeah. And then through my just outreach with the grain cluster, we ended up from Wheat Life magazine ended up reaching out to us. And so we actually just sat on a virtual meeting with them this morning. And so they're going to write an article about our artisan grain cluster, and hopefully that reaches more people. And then I'm also setting up a meeting with Karen Springs Mills to kind of talk to them. We want to get their insights into, how this grain cluster can help the local grain system. I think that's it on the grain cluster.
So, if I can interject, the people we're talking to, it's really hard to work with the big flour mills if you want to mill just small amounts of specialty grain.
Mhm,
So that's where the idea of maybe a toll mill, or
right.
almost like think of our commercial kitchen, like a mill that people could rent to use.
Right.
Mhm,
Keeps coming up. And then packaging, everybody talks about packaging, which
mhm.
I don't know what exact, site, we talked about sizes with
Right,
Blues Heritage.
right.
So there's a hand up in the audience.
I
Do
don't
you
know if
want
I
to take
can-
comment?
Make a comment later. I'll start writing this. Okay, so we're the Mount Mansardo, right? We're trying to find local flour. And so on this note, so Karen Springs, that's who we're getting our flour from, that they're meeting with. The hard part that we're having with Karen Springs, they're the best flour we want to use. They partner with Moon Family Farms. It's 30 miles away from here. So it's hyper local. It's exactly what we want, but they lack distribution on this side of the state. And so we've had to partner with food hubs, and actually Andy's Market in Walla Walla is allowing us to use Charlie's Produce out of Spokane to create our own distribution chain. Without the grain cluster here, we've noticed that so many of these farms don't have milling access and packaging. They can't package over 50 pounds, over 5 pounds. So they can't package 50-pound bags. And so having the grain cluster here in Dayton would have fixed this absolute nightmare of this past month that I've had, trying to get this flour that we located right away to Dayton. Because all these mills, there's all these different farms, and the farms are easy to find, but they don't have milling resources, and then they don't have packaging resources, and then they don't have food hub network distribution. So honestly, this was really interesting because we didn't intend for our business to end up needing this grain cluster so badly. But if this grain cluster existed, it would have been that easy instead of an absolute logistical nightmare. And we know we're not the only small business that's trying to use local flour. There's so many of them, especially all these bakers that are already at the commercial kitchen, right? They're all going to want local resources as well. And the supply chain is just broken. So honestly, this grain cluster is really exciting for us because we're already located at Blue Mountain Station. We'll have even more access to the things that we need. So it's been really validating. Just kind of happened all at the same time.
Just have to figure out logistics and how it would
Yeah.
work. Is
Sounds
that-
like all they need is a wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
You can talk.
Sanitize.
Oh, yeah, okay, so just continuing my staff report. As Teeny mentioned, we had the flea market this last Saturday. We had about 21 vendors from all over. Actually, one came from Idaho and ended up staying the night here, which is awesome. That's increased visitors. It's not even visiting the flea
That wasn't
market,
even the
but the
intention.
vendor. Yeah, so it was really cool. And it was a whole mix of people. And honestly, I didn't count the number of visitors. I tried to, but like the parking lot was packed like all day. Seriously.
Which is amazing.
It was crazy. It was great. Like I put up a little table with just Dayton information, restaurants, the visitor's guide, all that things. And I had some, chairs. People were just sitting and like looking at the Dayton map and reading about Dayton. And it was really great just to see people connect. And as Teeny said, all the vendors were happy. I haven't heard a bad word from any of the vendors, which is good that everyone just had a good time. We went out to Dumas Station too in that same day. And it was great to see them because it was like people I had seen at the flea market then went out there. And so like just that collaboration was great because I think having that event and our event really supported some increased visitors because people went to both things and they were really grateful for, our collaboration with them. So that was just really awesome. Let's see. So this week actually is National Economic Development Week. So I just thought I'd let you guys all know that, doing economic development. And let's see what else. I just connected a business with the Scale Up program, which is for like second stage businesses. So connected a business there. Quarterly connections will be June 6th at Chief Springs, the back patio. And we're going to talk about energy efficiency upgrades. So far, I've only heard back from one guest speaker with the USDA with the Rural Energy for America program. So they're going to talk a little bit. We're going to try to get like the Pacific Power, right? Is Pacific Power?
Pacific Power,
Yeah.
and the REA. if we can,
Yeah.
Because they all have business incentives right
Right.
now
Right. To help.
and residential, but
Yes.
these are focused on.
Focus on
businesses.
the businesses, yeah, so mark your calendars for that. And then the last thing is just that. The port was awarded a $10,000 grant from the state of Washington Tourism focused on rural marketing and production, developing everlasting content and digital assets for tourism and marketing our county. So.
Jill's first grant.
Okay.
She has 100% success rate.
Okay, and I think that's it.
Thank you. Next on the list, we have housing.
Just have Common Roots coming in July, like I reported before, and I will also report that they have a new executive director. Their director decided to move back to the west side, and so Catherine Witherington, that used to work at the Port of Columbia, is now the executive director of the Common Roots. So, yeah, probably be Catherine who comes and presents to it. Coming full circle. Yeah, that's it there.
Okay, now, Dayton Development Task Force. Mike, you got anything for us?
I do. We had a meeting on April 24th. How detailed you want this, so this is my first report to you, so. PSE donated $500 to the task force, right?
Yep, for Joni's hours, she gets to count, they make grants to agencies whose employees volunteer hours to organizations, and she's the treasurer, so.
So spring cleanup happened and was successful. 10 people showed up and the Sacagawea statue monument was cleaned up also. The chamber's looking at a portable stage for events within our community. They were asked to bring a fuller package back to us. And we look forward to hearing about that. Downtown Trees is still working on which kind of trees. The port assisted with an RFP for the Four Corners Arts project. Caboose Park is still working on shade for the playgrounds, trying to come up with a solution there. Regional sign deposit has been made, and the signs for the Umatilla National Forest and the wilderness areas are on their way.
So they're the last ones downtown, it points to Bluewood,
Right.
that haven't been replaced that fit that whole sign look, so. Task force is doing those two.
flower baskets are happening, but there's some difficulty with certain flowers. They're died.
No,
Yeah,
it's hard to find that. The proven winners are hard to find, but I can update that report in that they have been located.
Okay. Let's see, maintenance, previous landscaping was happening and the previous landscaper, we've got a new landscaper that helped maintain in front of the DOT and around the sun. String of Pearls will be completed this year. And QR codes, Jill's been working on the grant. Right?
Mhm.
And it will help, there's $15,000 on the project and Main Street website.
Okay, so the idea would be to put QR codes in the downtown buildings, the historic buildings, that a person could then scan the code and it would take them to a website and it would describe that building.
Okay.
Its history, kind of what the businesses were that were located in that building.
Right.
Is that it? I think-
Information about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the task force does not have their own website. So if the grant is successful, a new website will be developed for
The
the
motion.
task force. Yep.
Make the website.
Yeah.
Facade grants, Main Street Salon, and then Eric Crumback.
Trebek.
Requested a grant, and the grant committee or the facade committee is working on with those businesses.
Okay.
And then the curb, you reported
I
on.
just reported on our
Reported on. Jill reported on the State Tourism Art Culture Fund. That also will help with QR codes, applied for rural marketing. You
But
just
yeah.
talked about it.
looks recorded.
Yeah.
That's my report unless you have questions.
What's the Pearl thing?
So back in 2011, the task force did a downtown, a kind of an assessment of the downtown district, improvements that could be made off of Main Street. So the consultant who did it came up with the idea of the string of pearls along Commercial Street. So if you're on Commercial, you've got the historic schoolhouse, then the historic depot, or Sacagawea Historic Depot, the courthouse. They called it the string. So there are a couple of people on the task force that are working on the idea of putting some markers, informational signs, markers along that sidewalk that talk about the history of that corridor. So that's what it is. And it's been being worked on for a long time. And so this person is promising it will get done this year.
This year,
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You bet.
Well, that is all that we have on our regular agenda. Next, we're going to have an executive session for RCW 42.30.110 I to discuss with legal counsel representing the agency matters relating to agency enforcement actions or to discuss the legal counsel representing the agency litigation or potential litigation to which parties of the agency, the governing body, or a member acting as an official capacity is or is likely to become a party. When public knowledge regarding the discussion is likely to result in an adverse legal or financial consequence to the agency. Kim, how much time are we gonna need for this?
Let's start with 10 minutes.
Okay.
So do you want to do your final public comment before the executive session? Because I don't expect to take any action after the executive session. That way you can adjourn. I don't.
Can we? I don't think we can legally adjourn until after the,
No, I mean, after we can.
after.
Yes,
Yeah,
but if we
okay.
get the final public comment,
Got
if someone has final public comment, they could do it now instead of waiting for the executive session.
Sounds good.
That'd be fine by me.
I'm okay with that.
With that, we'll go ahead and open up for final public comment. Anybody in the room have a comment? Go ahead.
Melissa Bryan Dayton. I just wanted to say thank you for the task force report. That was awesome to be able to hear what's happening. That
Was that
genuinely,
good enough?
that was awesome. Yeah.
Is this where we tell Mike he's co-chair of the flea market?
Oh, that's right, we did that before we got here.
Thanks. Train's coming down.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
The string of pearls, are they redoing that road? Is that,
No.
the city is not planning on redoing that road?
Not at the moment. I know that they got money to do a lot of the arterial, or,
It's in
no,
their
wait, the side
plan.
roads.
It's in their.
In the plan would be to increase parking, potentially pave the parking lot behind Dingles, make it more of a nice public parking
Because
lot.
you can't even walk from the depot to the courthouse, can you, back there? Isn't there no sidewalk?
Well, you can, but there's pieces of the sidewalk missing.
Oh, okay, okay, so it's in the plan to maybe look at that.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
think
it's
in
got
their
plans.
5-year
Yeah, it's-
Transportation.
That's probably task force, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But I want you guys to talk to me about milling. I got a couple ideas too.
Okay.
I have to mill my own grain
You do?
for brewing.
Oh. Okay, yeah, I'll talk to you.
Sorry.
Side notes.
Any other comments? Anybody on Zoom have a comment? No other comments? I just want to remind everybody that our next regular meeting will be a change of venue. We're going to be meeting out at Lions Ferry, Wednesday, June 12th at 5:00 p.m. You're welcome to join us out there or via Zoom, but if you come here, nobody will be here. With that, we'll go ahead and turn you all loose and we'll go into executive session.
So we will plan to resume at 6, we'll call it 6 p.m.
Okay.
Okay, a little bit more than 10 minutes, but close.
Okay.
6 p.m. is when we will resume. No action expected.
Perfect. Thank you.
so I'm gonna pause the recording.
Okay, time is 6 o'clock and we don't have anything else to discuss, so meeting adjourned.
Great,
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I did get all the people in the waiting room left.
What else are they gonna do on a Tuesday?
Okay, Ms.